Welcome to my channel Mindset Mastery Hub, where I'll be sharing with you the summary of the best books on success in all fields of life. Today, I'll be sharing with you the summary of The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. In this book, author explains the simple principles of getting rich and says that by following these principles, one can become rich. So let's begin with the summary of The Science of Getting Rich. As per author, there is a science of getting rich, and it is an exact science like algebra or arithmetic. There are certain laws which govern the process of acquiring riches. Once these laws are learned and implemented, he will get rich with certainty. The ownership of money and property comes as a result of doing things in a certain way. Those who do the things in a certain way get rich, while those who do not do the things in a certain way, no matter how hard they work or how able they are, will always remain poor. It is a natural law like action and reaction are equal and opposite to each other, and therefore, people who learn to do things in a certain way will get rich. But everywhere, we see rich and poor living side by side in the same environment. When two men are in the same locality and in the same business, one gets rich while the other remains poor. It shows that getting rich is not primarily a matter of environment. Some environment may be more favorable than the others, but when two men in the same business are in the same neighborhood, one gets rich while the other fails. It indicates that getting rich is a result of doing things in a certain way. And further, the ability to do things in this certain way is not due to the possession of talent, but because many people who have great talent remain poor, while others who have very little talent get rich. Also, you will do the best in the business which is suited to you in your locality. Like example, an ice cream parlor would do better in a warm climate like Africa rather than in a green land. Author says, nature is an inexhaustible storehouse of riches. The supply will never run short. Thoughts are alive with creative energy and is constantly producing more forms. As per author, the first principle of getting rich is the power of thought, as thought is the only power which can produce tangible riches from the formless substance. The matter from which all things are made is from our thought, and this thought brings into reality a thought of form. As one thinks of particular form, it takes that form. As it thinks of a motion, it takes that motion. That is the way all things were created. Man is a thinking center and can originate thought. All the forms that man fashions with his hands must first exist in his thought. He cannot shape a thing until he has thought of that thing. Men must become able to think in a certain way to be able to get rich. A man's way of doing things is the direct result of the way he thinks about things. There is a thinking process from which all things are made, and this thought penetrates and fills the interspace of the universe. If a doubt comes to you, ignore it. Do not listen to anybody. Arguments against your idea of getting rich. Do not read magazines or books which teach you that getting rich is a complex process. And do not discuss with your friends and neighbors who discourage you to think rich. Because the science of getting rich begins with the absolute acceptance of this faith. Author tells a seed dropped into the ground springs into activity, and in the act of living produces 100 more seeds, multiplies itself. Similarly, every thought we think makes it necessary for us to think another thought. Consciousness is continually expanding. Every fact we learn leads us to the learning of another fact. Knowledge is continually increasing. Every talent we cultivate brings to the mind the desire to cultivate another talent. The universe desires you to take everything you want to have. Nature is friendly to your plans. Everything is natural for you. It is essential, however, that your purpose should harmonize with the purpose. You may surround yourself with beautiful things, see distant lands, feed your mind, and develop your intellect in order that you may love men and do kind things and be able to play a good part in helping the world to find truth. Author gives an example of poor man living in a rented house and having only what he learned from day to day. But he religiously and constantly saw in his mind a clear picture of the things he desired, so that the creative thought of them might be impressed on his mind, even though he was a very poor man. He followed the instruction given in this book. He started thinking positively and planned a home for himself with all the improvements he would like to make in his imagined house. He mentally added all the details that he required until it was complete in his mind as his ideal home. Holding the whole picture in his mind, he began living in a certain way and moving towards what he wanted, and now he owns the real house that he imagined and rebuilt it daily in his mind. The second principle of getting rich is give more than what you receive. Here, author suggests to give every man more in use value than you take from him in a cash value. By doing so, you are adding to the life of the world by every business transactions. This will surely help you to get rich. The third principle of getting rich is to practice gratitude. Author says the whole process of mental adjustment and service to mankind can be summed up in one word, and that is gratitude. Many people are in poverty by their lack of gratitude. It is easy to understand that the nearer we live to the service of the wealth, the more wealth we shall receive. And it is easy to understand that the soul that is always grateful lives in closer touch with the God than the one which never looks to the God in the thankful acknowledgement. The more grateful we fix our minds on the Supreme God when good things come to us, the more good things we will receive and the more rapidly they will come. And the reason is that the mental attitude of gratitude brings the mind into the closer touch with the source from which the blessing comes. Gratitude will lead your mind out along the ways by which things come, and it always keeps you in a close harmony with the creative thought and prevent you from falling into the competitive thought. There is a law of gratitude, and it is absolutely necessary that you should observe the law. The law of gratitude is the natural principle that actions and reactions are always equal and in opposite direction. The grateful outreaching of your mind in thankful praise to the Supreme is the liberation of expenditure of force. And if your gratitude is strong and constant, the movement of the things you want will always be towards you. To permit your mind to dwell upon the inferior is to become inferior and to surround yourself with the inferior things. On the other hand, to fix your attention on the best is to surround yourself with the best and to become the best. The creative power within us makes us into the image of that to which we give our attention. We are thinking human beings, and the thinking process always takes the form of that which it thinks about. The grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best, and therefore it tends to become the best. It takes the form or the character of the best and will receive the best. Also, the faith is born of gratitude. The grateful mind continually expects good things, and expectations become faith. He who has no feeling of gratitude cannot long retain a living faith, and without living a faith, one cannot get rich by the creative method. It is necessary to cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to us and to give thanks continuously. This will bring into harmonious relations with the good in everything, and the good in everything will move towards you. You must form a clear and definite mental picture of what you want. You cannot transmit an idea unless you have it for yourself. You must have it before you can give it, and many people fail to receive what they desire because they themselves have only a vague and misty concept of the things they want to do or to get the desired goal. Author says one must know what one wants, and author further says you can never get or start the creative power into action by sending out unformed longings and vague desires. See just what you want and get the clear and mental picture you must have regularly in mind. You must keep your face towards it all the time. You must no more lose sight of it, and unless really you want to get rich, so that the desire is strong enough to hold your thoughts directed to the purpose. The more clear and definite you make your picture and the more you dwell upon it, bringing out all its delightful details. And the stronger your desire, it is easier to hold your mind fixed upon the picture you want. Author elaborates this with an example of a dream house. Author says, live in a new house mentally until it takes the form around you physically. In the mental realm, enter at once into a full enjoyment of things you want. See the things you want as if they were actually around you all the time. See yourself as owning and using them. Make use of them in imagination just as you will use them when they are in your physical possession. Dwell upon your mental picture until it is clear and distinct, and then make the mental attitude of ownership towards everything in that picture. Take possession of it in mind, in the full faith that is actually yours. Once you have clearly formed your vision, When you have formed it, it is well to make an oral statement addressing the Supreme in deep prayer, and from that moment you must receive what you ask for. Think and speak of all the things you must have asked for it in terms of actual present ownership. Imagine an environment and a financial condition exactly as you want them, and live all the time in that imaginary environment and financial condition. Remember that it is faith and purpose in the use of the imagination which makes the difference between the scientist and a dreamer. And having learnt this fact, it is here that you must learn the proper use of the will. Author says there is a power which never fails to present opportunity to the advancing man who is moving in accordance to the law. God will help you if you act in a certain way. But remember that your thoughts must be held upon the creative plane. Whenever you do fall into the old ways of thoughts, correct yourself instantly. For when you are in the competitive mind, you have lost the cooperation of the mind. Author says to guard one's speech. Never speak of yourself, your affairs, or of anything else in a discouraging way. Never admit the possibility of failure or speak in a way that infers failure as a possibility. Never speak of the times as being hard or of business conditions as being doubtful. Times may be hard and business doubtful, but you can create what you want and you are above fear. When others are having hard times and poor business, you will find your greatest opportunities. Train yourself to think of and to look upon the world as something which is becoming and which is growing. Always speak in terms of advancement and to deny yourself fate to lose it. Never allow yourself to feel disappointed. You may expect to have certain things at a certain time and not to get it at that time, and this will appear to you like failure. But if you hold your faith, you will find that the failure is only apparent. Go on in a certain way, and if you do not receive that thing, you will receive something so much better that you will see that this failure was really a great success. That is the way every failure will work out of you. If you keep your faith, hold to your purpose, have gratitude, and do every day all that can be done that day, doing each separate act in a successful manner. When you make a failure, it is because you have not asked for enough. Keep on, and a larger thing than you are seeking will certainly come to you. Man must form a clear and definite mental image of things he wishes to have or to do or to become, and he must hold this mental image in his thoughts while being deeply grateful to the Supreme that all his desires are granted to him. The man who wishes to get rich must spend his leisure hours in contemplating his vision and his deepest thanksgiving that the reality is being given to him. The creative energy works through the established channel of natural growth and of the industrial and social order. All that is included in this mental image will surely be brought to the man who follows these principles given in this book. Dear friends, my favorite quote from this book is, "Nature is an inexhaustible storehouse of wealth. The supply will never run short." Call to action to all my viewers. Dear viewers, from this book, I am going to develop the attitude of gratitude for all the things that has made my life easy. Write in the comment box what you like the most from this video and what principle you are going to implement. Thank you friends for watching these inspiring videos. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe now and hit the bell icon to get the notification for my next video, as I'll be sharing with you every week many more such inspiring videos. Share this video with your friends and family members who are trying to find different possibilities to start their new habit. Thank you.